you do under pressure? Oh, yeah. I've been wanting this forever. I've been in the field with whatever they throw at me. Brush it off, pick myself up, moving on to the better. Hey. Ain't no errors, baby, it's a new era. I wake up early, feeling rich like I'm Kesha. I get to the paper, boy. Extra.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome into a new episode podcast to talk about the Arizona Cardinals. Hopefully everybody's having a fantastic Tuesday afternoon. I want to give a huge shout out here to the sponsors of the Arizona Sports Fan here. The Arizona Sports Fan is powered by BetUS throughout the entirety of the NFL season. Right now, if you use promo code YouTube150, they'll provide you 150% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits up to $2,000, and they got all sorts of bets currently happening right now with BetUS. So if you're a gambling man or woman, you can go ahead and place a bet here right now with obviously Cardinals versus the Detroit Lions. It's happening this weekend. Go ahead, take it on. BetUS. YouTube 150. It's all you got to do, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Without further ado, let's go and just jump right into it, ladies and gentlemen. We got a lot to dive into today. Let me give some huge shout outs to the people that are currently in the chat. We got Mace in the chat. We got State 48. We got Vin. We got Bass, Ian, Richie, FR, Daniel, Caleb, Martin. What's up, y'all? Appreciate y'all for being here. If you guys do not know, smack the like button. do it on the way in. Right now we are sitting with about 26 viewers currently right now on YouTube, and I'm only assuming that's just going to get more and more as we continue to go live. But the main topic that we're going to be diving into today, ladies and gentlemen, is has the Arizona Cardinals figured it out, right? Because I think right now we're in a situation where we're getting love. We're getting love from the outside, right? We're getting love from these national media outlets out there that are now starting to look at the Cardinals and saying, wait, what? They beat the Los Angeles Rams 41-10. Are you kidding me? We had the Rams as a potential playoff team. What are we talking about here, right? So we're going to be diving into it because honestly, this performance, right, that we just saw over the weekend a couple days ago was one of the best performances we've seen in a very, very long time. And it's getting a lot of national attention out there. And it should. It absolutely should, because at the end of the day, the Arizona Cardinals should be in people's mouths because we are now reminding them that, hey, Kyler Murray's back, ladies and gentlemen. Kyler Murray's back. Now, I want to go and dive right into here. We got Mina Kimes on a specific show talking about the Arizona Cardinals, obviously with the personnel package that we had last year and now obviously blending into this year. Just how different our offense is looking like under Drew Petzing compared to your, Cliff Kingsbury regime. We had Mina Kimes end up talking about, Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals offense, and this is what she had to say.
Like this offense this weekend delivered on the promise of what we thought it could be last year in the second half when Kyler came back. Because last year, in the second half, not a lot of people watched the Arizona Cardinals, but if they did, they saw a dominant running team out of 12 and 13 personnel. And we watched that and we thought, man, if they could just throw it out of those looks, this offense is going to be a problem. And that's what it was on Sunday. Almost all those explosives were out of 13 personnel, guys. And they had the Rams in base, meaning four defensive backs on the field every single time. To me, that ability to compromise defenses because of what a load you are on the ground, and now you've got a deep threat and a quarterback who's connecting deep to him.
You know what else it makes me think,
that
MK?
is tricky.
The 13 personnel point. When you have the 13 personnel in the field and the defense plays base, so you only have 4 athletes, high-end, speedy athletes on the field, also so many of the broken plays. So many of the scramble plays still has 7 bigger people in coverage and 4 athletes really as far as like coverage people.
McBride is the one who's going to benefit because he's really good at those scramble drills, and more often than not, I think one of them, he was on, Roseman was on him, the linebacker, and that's a mismatch.
So Real quick, shout out to them. Obviously, whenever they do talk about the Cardinals, it almost kind of feels like a breath of fresh air because we don't get a lot of national attention, right? And at the end of the day, I don't really care, but it is kind of cool to hear, kind of the perspective of these national medias because, they're going to be talking about the hottest teams, right? And the Cardinals right now, if you look at the power rankings in week 1 compared to week 2, it's a night and day difference, right? And I'm not sure if you guys noticed, but there is also people out there being putting up mock drafts out there as well. And the Cardinals used to be, somewhere around the realm of like 7, 8, somewhere around that realm. But now after this win against the Rams, we're now shot up to like the 18th spot. So like it's so crazy that one win gives so much confidence to the fan base. One win gives so much confidence to obviously the national media that's, coming out here and saying the Cardinals are either going to be a playoff team or they're not going to be a playoff team. And that's what it is in the NFL, right? It's a fast moving business. You can be very, very good one week and then you can have a very bad, terrible week the next week. And then you're talking about you potentially picking up in the top 5 in the NFL draft again, right? Now, granted, we do got a very tough matchup coming our way with the Detroit Lions. And if you guys didn't watch the preview video, I ended up releasing that earlier this morning. And I ended up highlighting the fact that the last 5 times the Cardinals played the Lions, the Arizona Cardinals have lost 4 out of those 5 times. That 5th time, we ended up actually tying with the Detroit Lions. So the Lions has actually had our number for the past 5 times that we've played them. Now, we've said this before. This has been a talking point that we talked about for the Rams as well, where the Rams has beaten us every year since 2014 at home, right? And we beat that, right? And now that's over. Now the fact that the Arizona Cardinals are coming out here and showing that they're a competent, and not just that, but an actual well-functioning offense, it leaves a level of intrigue for a lot of these national media, outlets out there saying things like, whoa, maybe this team can be actually better than we think, right? Because the whole Drew Petzing offense with the whole 12 personnel, those heavy packages on there with, Tip Ryman or just adding another offensive lineman or just another tight end to block is a big deal, right? And we're not used to that, right? Because we saw 4 years of spread offense. We've seen 4 years of shotgun, and that was the identity of what the Arizona Cardinals were. And now it's different. It's night and day different in terms of what the Cardinals used to be to now. This is a NFL offense. What Drew Petzing is running is an NFL offense. Now, yes, were we a little upset with Drew Petzing in week 1 because of the whole Marvin Harrison Jr. situation? Yeah, right? There was a lot of talks. There was a lot of rumblings about not putting your wide receiver number 1 as a number 1 option. But I get it, right? I think this win against the Rams has shut a lot of people up for now, right, including myself, because that's what you want to see from a 4th overall pick, right? That's what you want to see. He was targeted like 8 times in this game in week 2. Over 130 yards, 2 touchdowns, and probably could have had more if the connection was as established as it's most likely going to get to, as obviously the time goes on and they spend a little bit more time under the belt. So there's a lot. There's going to be a lot of, national media being placed on the Cardinals, especially if they win against the Lions. Because guess what? The Lions right now are seen to be one of the top NFC teams in the NFL. And guess what? If the Lions come out here and lose in State Farm Stadium versus the Arizona Cardinals, oh boy. Turn on your national media because there they go. They're going to be going on a rampage talking how Kyler Murray's playing like an MVP. James Conner is one of the best running backs in the NFL. Marvin Harrison Jr. is the top candidate for Rookie of the Year. It's going to be insane if the Cardinals end up winning against the Lions. Now, if they come out here and fight really, really strong but end up losing, there's still some people, including us, right, Cardinal fans, we're going to be able to sit to ourselves and say, hey, we fought very hard against a Super Bowl contending team. But, man, the alternative and what could potentially happen, wow. Just, man, oh man. It's going to be very, very intriguing to figure out what happens in week 3 versus the Detroit Lions. Now, I don't know if you guys are aware, but Kyler Murray actually has a YouTube channel. Kyler Murray has a YouTube channel now, and I believe the latest video that he posted earlier this morning was about basically like a day. I'm not sure if it was a day in the life, but basically him preparing for a game, essentially like what he does at home. And there was a specific clip that I want to dive into, and I really do like it. And I'm curious to figure out what a lot of these guys that don't believe that Kyler Murray is him or don't believe that Kyler Murray will ever be a franchise quarterback in their opinion. I'm curious to figure out what your guys' thoughts on this clip, because he was asked about, the switch up, right? The guy said, how do you feel about the switch up? Because let's call it like it is. After week 1's performance, there was a lot of people coming after Kyler Murray's throat. And then after the week 2 performance, it's completely night and day difference from what people were talking about, right? So let's dive into what Kyler Murray had to say about the switch up. Let's dive into it.
Everybody was talking about you versus John.
Oh, man, it's
The switch up.
yeah, no, I mean, it is what it is, bro. We got to keep doing it. I got to keep doing it. I'm my biggest critic, bro. I expect greatness out of myself. I expect greatness out of, our team, because I know, what I'm saying, you've seen a glimpse of it, the work we put in. Like, that's been my whole life. You know what I'm saying? My whole life's dreams is to win Super Bowls, bro.
So, honestly, it's I'm not gonna say funny, but we hear a lot of athletes, we hear a lot of coaches saying that we don't listen to the outside noise, right? But the outside noise is loud, right? And this is as loud as it's going to get when it comes down to social media. And it's probably going to get louder because social media has pretty much taken over the world, where you're probably sitting at dinner, or you're probably, between shows, or you're binge watching a show, or you're waiting for your friend to come back from doing something, or you pause the video game, right? You jump on social media. You see these clips everywhere, right? Everywhere. TikTok, Instagram. Heck, I don't know if who goes on Facebook anymore, but Facebook, right? And all these social media platforms are a big deal, right? So the fact that he knows and he acknowledges that the switch up was a thing, and he doesn't have to ask what they're talking about, is the fact that, the noise is around these top athletes that are getting paid millions and millions of dollars, because at the end of the day, right, it's important to acknowledge the fact that like what's being said out there, but also don't listen, right? Does that make sense? Acknowledge what's being said, but don't listen at the same time. I know that's kind of a hard concept to understand, because I think it's obviously more important to not take too much into account from obviously a podcaster or obviously somebody from the outside, because the only guys that you really should be listening to are the people in the locker room, right? And that is going to be obviously Jonathan Gannon and the guys in the locker room, right? The 53. Right? Those are the main opinions that these athletes should be worried about at the end of the day, because we've seen it before, right? We've seen Kyler Murray do very, very good one week, and he's the best quarterback in the NFL, right? And then we've seen him struggle the next week, and then everybody's talking about Kyler Murray's the worst quarterback. We're never going to win anything with him, right? So it's one of those things that the acknowledgement of we need to get better needs to be there, but the idea of hearing what people's opinions about what they're saying about you as a franchise quarterback, that's what I'm saying. You need to kind of let it go in one ear and out the other, right? Use it as motivation. And one of the things that he said here is that he's his own biggest critic, right? He could have taken this whole little portion of his vlog and basically completely twist it. Now, he actually did say he does not like people that clickbait, right? He doesn't like people that twist his words. And what he said the game after, right, on the post game after week 1 on the Bills, when he said that, it wasn't his job to force feed or to get the ball to specific wide receivers. That was Drew Petzing's job to kind of scheme it up that way. A lot of people twisted the words and said, whoa. What, right? You're the quarterback, right? You're a franchise quarterback of, the Arizona Cardinals. What are you telling me? You're not supposed to, worry about that type of thing, right? And that's what he said he was talking about more than anything, that he really wasn't saying the fact that it's not his job to get the ball to the wide receiver. No, he's not saying that. He was saying it's not his job to force feed a specific player, especially if there's double coverage, especially if the play wasn't designed for that specific player, right? So the whole thought of what Marvin Harrison Jr. has done from week 1 to week 2, the absolute difference, right? The difference we've seen from week 1 to week 2, I know Jonathan Gannon came out and said, we're not worried about the outside noise. We're not, doing anything to appease everybody on the outside, but you got to call, there is some effect. Because there's absolutely no way that Kyler Murray, now when you're looking back on the film, Kyler Murray is looking for Marvin Harrison Jr. Like, I'm not sure if you guys have access to the All-22 on NFL Plus, but I do, right? In the first game, it was obvious that when he dropped back, he was looking for that short play, right? And I think that's what it kind of came to my mind, is saying in week 1 versus the Buffalo Bills, the main plan was to have a short game and run the ball. The winds were absolutely wild. It was like 28 miles an hour. So I think that was the game plan. But when you're looking at week 2, when he drops back, one of the first reads, if on all plays, or if not all plays, most of the plays was where's Marvin Harrison Jr., right? Is he beating his guy? So I hear Jonathan Gannon, I really do, but I think at the end of the day, it was a big factor as to why, right? Why we've seen such a big uptick in the production of Marvin Harrison Jr. Now, you can also throw in there the fact that Kyler Murray was, maybe not familiar with the game, right? That they needed a week to kind of get really familiar. Yeah, you could throw that in there as well. I'm not saying here and saying, oh, the media got to him, or the content creators, or everybody on the outside, talks about the Cardinals, got to them. No, I'm not saying that, but you got to acknowledge the elephant in the room, right? And the fact is, this Arizona Cardinal offense will only get to the level that we want to see it at, and I mean like scoring points and being as efficient as it can, is if you target your wide receivers, right? And there's a big difference from week 1 to week 2. We get it. There's elements that was thrown out there. The elements in Buffalo was not favorable for the Cardinals, especially because we're not used to it. I think the game plan was truly run the ball, short play, right? And the fact that Buffalo adjusted and the Cardinals didn't, it was very, very telling. Because I still take this to the grave. There's no way in your last play on a 4th down you're chucking that ball to Greg Dortch and not giving a chance to your other 3 guys, right? Michael Wilson, Marv, or even Trey McBride. Like, it just didn't make sense. So I'm glad that they were getting this information and they used it as positive, right? They didn't hang on to it. They didn't say to themselves, oh, woe was me, right? Because they acknowledged, Drew Petzing came out and acknowledged, yeah, we probably should have got him involved a little earlier, right? He came out and acknowledged it on his post game, or not post game. It was on his presser, probably like Tuesday of last week or Wednesday of last week. They acknowledged it. They acknowledged the fact that they should have got him involved. Absolutely. So this offense is special. I guess let me just say that this offense has the ability to be very, very special. It really, really does. This Arizona Cardinal team, this offense is an actual NFL offense. It is. This can be a offense that can hang with the big boys as long as it's executed the right way, right? As long as everybody's getting their block, as long as, everybody's doing what they need to do their job, right? It's a team. It's not mainly focused on one specific person. As long as everybody's doing their job, this can be a very, very well-functioning offense in the NFL, especially with what Kyler Murray can do. We saw glimpses of 2021, ladies and gentlemen. I want to be very, very clear on what we saw in week 2 of the magic of what Kyler Murray can do with his legs, right? Of him being an absolute magician back there. This guy is an absolute scary quarterback to play because you can't wrap him up so easily, right? Especially if he's spinning around, making 4 or 5 defensive men, right? Defensive linemen miss, right? Having them fall on each other because they can't catch him, right? It's a big problem. It's a big problem. He can extend plays with his legs for a very, very long time. And honestly, with any offense, if you extend a play for 4 or 5 seconds, you can find an open wide receiver or tight end or weapon, right? This offense is going to be very, very good as long as we can stay healthy. As long as our offensive line can stay healthy. I know Jonah Williams went down, and I know when Jonah Williams went down, there was a lot of Cardinal fans that were really panicking about, Kelvin Beachum looked bad against Buffalo. I was one of the first to say, give Kelvin Beachum an opportunity to prove it. He was literally thrown into the fire. And I don't think it was completely fair for us to jump on it. I get there was a lot of Cardinal fans that were upset with Kelvin Beachum because of what he said about Kyler, right? And if you don't know what I'm talking about, there's a lot of Cardinal fans that were upset with what Kelvin Beachum had to say about Kyler. But if they're cool with each other, why does that matter? Right? As long as he can play right tackle and he can protect his quarterback, that's all that should matter. And I'm glad we finally gave him the opportunity because in week 2 versus the Rams, he played very well. He played very, very well. And he kept Kyler Murray upright. I believe Kyler Murray was only sacked once, if I can remember correctly. And it seemed like Kyler had a pretty good pocket. And when it did break down, there he was, spinning around, making these defensive linemen look absolutely silly. So, Kelvin Beachum, Shout out to you. You had 1 week to prepare to get into this offensive line, and you did wonders. You did a fantastic job. You kept your quarterback upright. You did a fantastic job. But man, this offense is going to be special, ladies. This offense is going to be special. Let's go. Let's take it to a couple comments here. We got Dustin in the chat says this offense will give defenses problems. Facts. Oh, absolutely. 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 Yes, it is. It's going to give people problems. Facts. True. Once Kyler Murray and Marvin Harrison Jr. get down to that they can communicate with each other without even communicating, but on the field, it's going to be a scary place to be for a lot of defenses. If you guys didn't watch my latest video, not the preview, but I ended up releasing another video where there was the all-22 where you're actually looking at frame by frame or obviously play by play with all the explosive plays from Marvin Harrison Jr. In that second touchdown from Marvin Harrison Jr., I don't think he was supposed to take that route. I really don't. I think he was going to take an in route. Now, granted, it did help that Trey McBride was tripled over here, and then that just allowed the way that it formed out, it almost kind of seemed like it was a single high coverage. I'm not sure if you guys saw the same thing, but being the fact that Trey McBride was tripled, it just gave the opportunity for Marvin Harrison Jr. to completely just take that all the way, and Kyler and him knew exactly what they were trying to do, and the rest is history. Like, this team can be very, very special. Imagine these guys taking over or communicating on the field without communicating. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. What's up, Deus? Deus says that's the big X factor for us, injuries. Facts. Oh, well, that's true. But I mean, that's the X factor for everybody, right? Everybody in the NFL. That's the X factor for everybody in the NFL, in my opinion. Because if you guys do not know, right now within the Arizona Cardinals, right? Biggest question is, did we figure it out? I think we're closer to figuring it out, right? Because even Jonathan Gannon came out and said, a lot of good things that we saw, but there's things to clean up, right? There's things to be cleaning up. And if you see the all-22 film, you do see some open wide receivers here and there. But that's the thing, right? We're not going to harp on the idea that on one play, there's an open Marvin, there's an open Michael Wilson for a split of a second or 2 or 3 seconds, right? You're not going to harp on it because the Arizona Cardinals took care of business, right? Because the Arizona Cardinals took care of business at the end of the day. You want to see this more often than not, right? Right here. You want to see Paris Johnson Jr. lift up Marvin Harrison Jr. in his arms and basically say, hey, let's go, touchdown, right? You want to see this moving forward. And here's the thing. Deus, appreciate you for bringing this up. He says, JG said we played like we practiced, and that's why we won. I love the confidence, right? And even if he's wrong, even if he's not telling the truth, who cares? Who cares if he's not telling the truth? If that's the way the Cardinals practice it, then okay, let's keep it going. Keep practicing that way and keep translating it into NFL games, right? Because it's obviously working. It's obviously working. There were so many narratives out there after week 1. Marvin's a bust. Marvin Harrison Jr. only traveled, what they say, 10 miles an hour, 14 miles an hour in all these plays. Like, people were coming up with all these things about Marvin Harrison Jr. He's a bust. He only ran this, miles per hour in games. I don't think he was a big focal point in week 1. I really do. And I'm going to take that. I'm going to take that to the end of the year. I do not think he was a big focal point in week 1. The game plan was run the ball and short game. And I think Marvin Harrison Jr. knew that. He was trying to block. That's what his game plan was, right? Now, the crazy thing is that whole back shoulder fade that ended up happening in week 1, that there was a completely miss. Blame it on the wind, blame it on miscommunication, whatever you want to blame it on. They did that in week 2. Did you not notice that? When the Cardinals were pinned in the 1 yard line, Kyler Murray was in shotgun, ball gets snapped, Kyler Murray chucks the ball to the left, and boom, Marvin Harrison Jr. knew. Back shoulder fade. That's the type of stuff that you need to learn from, right? And the Arizona Cardinals are doing it. They're learning. We've seen multiple things that haunted the Cardinals game in and game out for years to come. This year feels different. It feels different. This year absolutely feels different for the 2024 Arizona Cardinals. They are learning. They are growing with each other. So big question is, did they figure it out? I think they did. I think they did. And here's the crazy thing. This is only game 2. This is only game 2 of Kyler Murray and Marvin Harrison. This is only game 2. That's the crazy thing. It's going to be a very fun duo to watch for years to come. That's all I got. It's going to be a very fun duo for years to come. Absolutely. Now, let's go and do this here real quick. I want to dive into something else real fast. I want to take a look in the NFC West. If you guys do not know, the NFC West is currently right now, I still think the best division, and it's probably always been the best division in the NFL. Very competitive. Now, if you're asking yourself, why the heck do I have Deebo Samuel on my screen here? The NFC West right now is going through the ringer. The NFC West right now is going through the ringer. There are so many injuries that are currently happening right now within just the NFC West in general. If you did not know, Cooper Kupp was placed on IR because he's hurt, right? Deebo Samuel said that, or I'm sorry, he didn't say, but he's going to miss a few games. He might even miss the Cardinals game. We don't 100% know exactly if that's going to be the case, but yeah, he's going to miss a few games. They don't have Christian McCaffrey. We know what the Rams are going through. The Rams are going through the ringer themselves. Like they are going. Puka Nakua's in the IR. I think Cooper Kupp is on the IR. If not, he's going to miss several games. Let me double check. I'm pretty sure I'm correct, but I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's just injuries after injuries. So right now, where it stands in terms of the NFC West, the Arizona Cardinals are sitting at 1-1. Guess what? We're tied at number 2. We're tied at number 2. And guess what? Darius Robinson, anybody seem to forget? He might come back in 2 games, might come back in 3 games. Or, we don't know. We know he's eligible to come back in week 5. We don't know if he's going to get taken off of IR, right? But our first round pick, Darius Robinson, anybody forget? Zay Jones, wide receiver that was supposed to be number 3 for the Cardinals. I'm sorry, not number 3, number 4 because of Greg Dortch. He's supposed to come back in week 5. We got players coming back. After the 49ers game, it opens up for the Cardinals. It really does. It opens up. There is a lot of injuries throughout NFC in general. So I honestly think that who's going to win the NFC West, it's probably going to come down to the healthiest team. Honestly, it's probably going to come down to the healthiest team. Deebo Samuel and C-Mac, Christian McCaffrey not being in the 49ers, it's going to be a big blow. Guess what? We got the Rams and the 49ers playing in week 3. Guess what? One of them have to win. So we can either see the Rams digging themselves more into a grave and start the season off at 0-3, or we take care of business and the Rams beat the 49ers, and guess what? They're at 1-2. So this is going to be such a fascinating week. A fascinating week here for the 2024 NFC West standings. Who would have thought? Who would have thought that the Seattle Seahawks were going to be sitting at the number 1 spot right now? Who would have thought? Not me. Not me. I didn't think that at all. I think this is going to be a very, very interesting test to see what the Cardinals do with this information that we have. And that is obviously Deebo not being there, potentially missing the game versus the Cardinals in week 5. It's a big deal. C-Mac is definitely, Christian McCaffrey's not going to be there. He's placed on the IR. The Cardinals need to take advantage. Now, we do have 2 teams in week 3, Cardinals and Lions, right? Obviously, we're playing somebody too. The Lions are a good team. I'm not going to come out here and say, oh, we're just going to beat them, right? And it's going to be easy. No, it's not going to be that easy. A couple things that you need to do. You need to pressure Jared Goff. You need to rattle his cage just like we did to Matthew Stafford, and our offense has got to get hot. They got to score points and make them forget about the run game. That's what you need to do. You need to have Jared Goff beat you. That's what you need to do in this game. Easier said than done. I agree. But there's a lot of promise. There's a lot of promise in what we've seen. A lot of promise in what we've seen in week 2 versus the Rams. I get it. They were beat down. They were wounded. They did not have a lot of healthy people on there. But I mean, it doesn't matter that they weren't healthy on their offensive line. It doesn't matter because our offense still scored 41 points, right? Their offensive line didn't help our offense score so many points on them and drop so many points on their heads. No, it didn't. The Cardinals are a good, well-functioning team. And as long as things go right, the explosives work, Kyler Murray gets involved with his legs, making people look silly and making them miss, and obviously dropping the dime over to Marvin Harrison Jr., Michael Wilson, Trey McBride, Greg Dortch, James Conner. It can be a very, very good game. Let me get to Deus here with the contribution. He says, Monty did a great job by giving us a great, deep roster. Well, I mean, I'm actually glad you said, here's the thing. In terms of big names, I don't feel like the Cardinals have a deep roster, right? There might be so like, for example, the middle linebackers, right? I don't think the Cardinals have a deep roster in the middle linebacker. Now, granted, yes, we got some people that are showing some flashes, but I think there would be huge blows if Kazir White wasn't there or Mac Wilson Sr., right? There is positions on this team that can use an upgrade, right? There is. I think Monty Ossenfort is going for the 3 or 4 year plan. I think that's what they're going for. Now, let's say, for example, the Cardinals win this game, right? Let's live in a pretty world. Let's say the Cardinals win against the Detroit Lions, right? Let's just say we do. Will the front office, will the Arizona Cardinals organization start to think of this team being more of a potential team that can make a playoff run if we start winning games? Or if we're flirting around 500, maybe the Cardinals won't do something. Maybe they'll say to themselves, okay, well, this is a 3-year rebuild. This is a 4-year. This is going to be the Cardinals going to the Super Bowl in year 4, right? But we've seen teams expedite. We've seen teams get better like this, right? Hello, Houston Texans, right? People are now talking about the Texans going deep in the playoffs. Crazy, right? They were supposed to be in the top 5 with the Cardinals. We were supposed to have 2 top 5 picks last year. Or this year, I'm sorry. And it didn't happen. You never know what's going to happen with the NFL. So, appreciate the super chat. I don't think we have depth to the point where I'm like, I feel confident. I feel like there is some places that need to be reassessed. But I don't blame Monty for not, right? But the thing is that if the Cardinals continue to win, because after this game, we got the Commanders. After that game, we got a wounded 49ers team that we always play tough. We always play the 49ers tough, regardless if they're a good team or not. We always play them tough. The year of Josh Rosen, we swept them. What? Like, you never know what's going to happen in division games. There can be upgrades on this roster for sure. What we do got to give credit to Monty Ossenfort is his drafting skills. He's not going to hit every single pick, right? Every single pick that he has in the 2024 or 2023 NFL draft, it's not going to be a home run. It's not. But he's picking really good players that are starters for this offense or offense/defense, right? He's picking the good people that he needs to do so. So, yeah, really excited about that. Really excited about that. We got Adrian in the chat says defense still needs a little work. And that's what I'm saying, right? I agree with you. I'm not going to, so like we made the Rams look really silly. That's true. We made the Rams look very, very silly. They, like right now, Rams fans don't know what to think. They did not expect to get blown out the way they did. They didn't expect Sean McVay to get out-coached the way that he did, right? We're making Rams fans really, really panic. Because they looked at this and said, okay, well, this is our get-right game. That's what they said to themselves. We always win in Arizona. This is our get-right game. But the Cardinals had different plans. They were like, no, it's not your get-right game. This is our get-right game. Because at the end of the day, we fought Buffalo tough. We lost by 6 points. We probably should have won that game if they called the PI for us. And obviously the rest is history. around the NFC West right now, it's still attainable. Heck, even around the NFC, ladies and gentlemen, it's still attainable. Look across the NFC right now. Look across. These whole guys are supposed to be Super Bowl contending teams in the NFC. The Eagles look absolutely clownish. Like, the decisions that they make in the Eagles are just crazy. They truly do miss Shane Steichen and they miss Jonathan Gannon over there. The Cowboys got absolutely obliterated. Right now, the two top teams are Tampa and the Saints. Who would have known? Who would have known? Tampa and the Saints? And then you got the 49ers talking about going back to the Super Bowl. And now they're 1-1, losing to the Vikings. A Sam Darnold-led Vikings, I should add. So it's one of those things, ladies and gentlemen. It's one of those things where around the NFL, we're 1-1 right now. That's what we are. But this team could be so much better. They have the potential to be very, very good. We just got to take care of business. If we lose against the Lions, the sky ain't falling. Because I think we can get a get-right game versus Cliff Kingsbury with the rookie quarterback and Jaden Daniels. I think he could be a good quarterback. I don't know. It's too early to tell about Jaden Daniels. I'm not looking at him like that. But the Cardinals should be licking their chops because they're playing a rookie quarterback in week 4. But obviously, we're not looking too far ahead. We're focusing on what we have going on for us. In week 3, that's what we're worried about. The Detroit Lions. They're a very good run-heavy team. They got a really good duo over there. But just the NFC in general. Just the NFC in general. The contenders, the guys that are supposed to be coming out of the NFC, guess what? They got our record. And guess what? They didn't play the Bills. Guess what? They didn't beat a team that was supposed to be playoff bound. That's us. We did that. The Lions beat the Rams in overtime by the teeth of their skin. The Cardinals did the opposite. We absolutely blown them out. Now, I'm not going to say that's going to translate. I'm not going to sit here and say that's going to translate. But there is room to believe that the Cardinals can, obviously, momentum carry into week 3, and we'll be able to take care of business. If you want the actual keys to success, you're going to need to join on that whole Cardinals versus Lions preview, because I ended up breaking it down to their players, to our players, what we need to do. It's live on the channel right now if you're interested. Yeah, and Dustin on here says, look how the Miami Dolphins played the Bills. Yeah. Look how Miami played. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Tua Tagovailoa was placed on IR. He might be removed off of IR by the time we play him, but what if he's not? Is Jordan Love going to be available when we play him in week 5? Was it week 6? Yeah, week 6? I don't know. The Cardinals are in a good position. We just got to take care of business. And I didn't want to disrespect. I think Green Bay is actually 2-0 too, right? Let me just double check. Green Bay. I'm sorry. No, Green Bay is not 2-0. They're 1-1. I'm sorry. The teams that are 2-0 right now are the Saints, the Buccaneers, the Vikings, and the Seahawks in the NFC. I don't care about the AFC. That's not our conference. 4 teams right now that are 2-0. Seahawks, Vikings, Saints, and Bucks. Who would have known? Who would have known, ladies and gentlemen? Who would have known? All right. So we're about to close up shop here, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to ask for an absolute huge favor. I usually don't do this, but I'm going to ask for a huge favor right here, ladies and gentlemen. So every Tuesday at 6 p.m., I go live on the NFC West Network. If you guys do not know what that is, here it is. The NFC West Network. I'm sorry, the NFC West Roundtable. Wow. The NFC West Roundtable. Every Tuesday we go live. I need hopefully half of you guys to come in here and join this chat. Because if you look at the people who are being repped right now are the Seattle Seahawks. There's 52% right now that are saying they're Seahawks fans. So if you guys have time, jump on over to the NFC West roundtable, which we're going to be going live in the next 5 or 6 minutes. If you guys need help, there it is. There it is. I just put the link here in the chat. If you guys need help, there it is. The link has been placed on the chat. I need at least half of you guys to jump onto the NFC West roundtable that we're going to be going live in the next 4 minutes, 5 minutes, to jump on there and talk your mess. Because, ladies and gentlemen, if you weren't on there last week, Rams fans were talking with their chests, and I said to them, when we beat you, you guys better be here. And guess what? Look at the amount of Rams fans on this poll. You got 8% Rams fan, 8% 49ers fans, 31% Cardinals fans, and 53% Seahawks fans. Yo, we're taking over. We're taking over, ladies and gentlemen, and I need you guys to go on over there. We're going to go live within the next 4 minutes, maybe even 5 minutes. But go on over there. The link has been posted here in the chat below, and I need you guys to back us up. Cardinal fans, it's time to step up. Go ahead and talk your noise. We are back, ladies and gentlemen. We are now sitting 1-1 in the division. And guess what? We got a new Seahawks representative. We got a brand new Seahawks representative, and he actually starts today. So show some love. Go on over to the NFC West roundtable. We're going live here pretty soon. And I appreciate you all. Thank you, everybody. We're going to be closing up shop. Appreciate y'all. If you guys need the link again, there is the link. I'm posting it here in the chat. All right. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. X says, let's invade. Absolutely. Invade, invade, invade. That's the key right now. Invade. All right, y'all. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. As always, we're going to be closing up shop. For the people that are going to be joining over there, I'll see you soon. Have a great rest of your day. I'm going to be putting on my stunner shades. All right, y'all. Appreciate y'all as always. Have a great rest of your day, and go Cardinals.